Three. Don't get. It's episode whatever the fuck I say it is. 3, 2, 1.
It's the wise cock that knows its own pup.
Recording
Testing,
myself.
testing. Alright, we got waves.
Yep.
Hey everybody, this is the White Noise Boys, episode 12. Host Chris Taylor. With me is the Butter Sizzle himself. Please
Butter sizzle
introduce
in the
yourself.
flesh.
Uh-huh.
Sizzling all day. How's it going, Chris? It's Alexander. Happy to be back for another episode of everyone's favorite White Noise Boys.
Uh-huh. So how you been?
Uh,
We didn't record last week for real. No real reason other than it's very hard to get a hold of you since you still have not gotten a phone.
yeah, so I am no longer actively on the internet every day, and that makes it hard to stay in touch. It's really funny how hard it is to get in touch with a person when they don't have a smartphone.
You know what my favorite part about that is that I could have gotten in touch with you because I use Messenger, and Messenger now handles SMS also. So I could have
Oh,
contacted
really?
you. I could have contacted you through the same. So you can't send an SMS through like messenger.com, but the phone application will also handle your SMS, and it doesn't rely on the internet, so you can do it when you're offline because it just uses your standard SMS service. So it's really
Wow.
just a way of in your quick launch tray you have your phone, and then you take out the text messaging application and replace it with Messenger because it get you one that does both.
Oh, wow. But then Facebook has your text well,
No,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, it's a minor
doesn't
thing.
matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. I did,
Facebook's getting end to end like this month anyway.
yeah. But I did record like a quick 2-hour thing with Masaru on Saturday night.
Oh, you should have got me, nigga.
Would you be good for 9 o'clocks
Yeah.
for him? Damn.
Just gotta hit me up. It's not like my wife's gonna say no.
I mean, I just know like family time's important with a little kid, so
No. You think that.
I mean, yeah, what do I know? I don't have a kid, like all my time is
After
mine.
after 2 years, like let's be honest. Does Naomi listen to this show?
No.
Okay. Well, let's be honest. After X number of years, there comes a point where like together time not a necessity.
I mean,
They're in the
true.
other room. They're right over there.
Um, yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. That's why, yeah, well, um, no, that's a solid point. And I mean,
Now,
you're with your kid every day, so
now
I mean, I
imagine
guess
if
I get
Naomi
that.
was incapable of speaking, yelled a lot, and you had to wipe shit off her ass for 2 years. And that's what having family time with a baby is like.
Yeah, yeah, true. So that's what nurses at old folk homes must feel like every day.
And you know what? Actually, I don't have a joke to follow that up. That was a real letdown. I could have sworn I was gonna have something, but the wheels didn't turn fast enough.
That's okay. Um, that's
But
absolutely
yeah,
fine.
the point, the whole, now that we've got sidetracked, the point being that in the application, I would normally message you through Messenger. I could have just texted you, but decided it would be too much effort to click the tab labeled SMS.
Oh, you're a bastard.
Like, I wouldn't even have to open another application. It would be one extra tap. And I'm like, nope. Not gonna do
So
that.
so instead of just like moving your thumb and clicking SMS, you made a conscious effort not to do that.
So here's the thing. This is your show. This is your responsibility.
I mean, you're right. And
I know.
yeah, there's other responsibilities that I have, and this is just a fuck offery anyways. Did you know that today is Go Topless Day?
Is what?
Go Topless Day?
Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not wearing a shirt right now. Hooray me.
Nice, dude. Nice. It just reminds me of like Earth Day when I was in college, and like the only people that run around for the naked mile are the people that you would never want to see naked anyways.
I mean, I would also make the point that that statement doesn't mean anything because they're not doing it for your benefit.
I mean, isn't the beauty in the beholder's eye or something like? No.
True,
Anyways,
but it's not about you.
anyways.
Like the rest of the world, secretly not about you. Surprise!
Oh, come on, dude.
Surprise! Ugh. Listening to our other show, I can just hear my baby yelling "Oh no" in the background for a good 5 seconds there. Really great.
Oh no, she comes in at some solid times
Uh huh.
where it like perfectly fits in whatever.
Child, I
Uh,
swear to God, just walking around with a blanket on her head like a fucking idiot. You can't see anything. Yeah, that's what you get.
that could be bad.
It's fine. She's far enough away from the TV and my computer that I don't care.
Okay,
The worst thing that
that's
can
good.
happen is she goes through the French doors.
Ugh, damn. Um, yeah, let's hope she doesn't crack her head open on the glass. But enough about that. Enough
That was
about
the
me. Seeing as the
joke.
world doesn't revolve around me. What have you been doing, Chris?
I've had last week nothing. Same old, same old. Uh, started got a large chunk of the Bamboo Garden website done. I was gonna work on it. Audrey, I swear to God, I was gonna work on it yesterday, but because I thought I would need a separate. So I'm using handlebars, which would be like the parts of if I was just using the interpolation of Angular 2, right? So it's just it was the I started looking into Knockout for it, which is what I thought I was gonna do because Angular 2 would be overkill. I looked at Knockout and I'm like, this is really overkill too because it's not there's no real there's no need for two-way communication between the model and the view, right? It's strictly one-way communication because the model is really just a flat file for the menu, so I don't have to. So it's much more easy to maintain. You can just
That's just
update
your
the.
your JSON file.
Yeah. Oh man. So then I was like, well, my goal, and generally speaking, is to use the best tool for the best job, even if I don't know what that is. So
Hmm.
I wanted to find the smallest possible thing in terms of surface area that would do what I need it to do. And I looked into Mustache, and Mustache was almost there, but it didn't have like logical blocks like if, because not all items on their menu have a description, right? So I can't just have I don't want an empty description field increasing the length of my template.
Right.
So I looked at handlebars, which is built upon Mustache. I also looked at Hogan, which I looked into handlebars. I looked into Hogan. Hogan handlebars is like Mustache, but with also they're called handlebars and Mustache because there's a lot of curly braces in HTML, just like interpolation. So I looked into Hogan, which is Twitter. So Handlebars is built upon Mustache. Hogan's built upon Handlebars. Hogan is from the Twitter team, and that's still a little more That still did stuff I didn't need it to do while being bigger than Handlebars. So I settled on Handlebars ultimately. Took maybe 20 minutes to get the hang of tops. Right? It's
Okay.
really great. Uh, so I was gonna work on it yesterday, but I came, I had an idea where, so I got the template done, a lot of the CSS done for the basically what the menus will look like because I spent a long amount of time because I haven't done anything with tabular data since I before retraining on web dev. The last time I used it was HTML 2 or 3,
Damn,
right?
that's
So
yeah,
yeah, it
long
was
time ago.
iframes and tables is what you did. But
Sad,
so
sad days.
I had some menus are by default tabular data, right? So my natural response is, well, I'll use a table for this, and then I'm like, oh, these look like shit on cell phones. They're either too small or you have to scroll left and right, and both ways are terrible. So it turns out that the modern approach is to build tables out of divs. So that took forever. So I basically did that, got that all working out, have the desktop layout happening. Was gonna work on it yesterday because I needed a separate template module for combination meals because they don't fit the typical table layout of is this heart healthy, spicy, vegan, Chinese
Hmm.
characters for the name, the Hanzi, uh, the name in English, a description if it has it, And then for each, with any of these being optional, a price 1 to 3 price labels with 1 to 3 prices. So they have things like rice, which you can get per person, a pint, or quart, and each of those has separate prices. But it didn't fit that until I realized that. So some of the Hanzi is multi-line, right? And it needs to be
Hmm.
aligned a specific. It needs to be aligned a specific way. But so I wrote what's called a helper, and it'd be like kind of like a pipe in Angular, right? So in my interpolation, I created a registered a function called new lines because when parsing the JSON, handlebars read my new line characters slash n,
Hmm.
but didn't put in breaks because that was beyond its scope. So I wrote a helper so that when I have, say, in the Chinese field, I write new lines and then the name of the JSON field being templated by handlebars, and it goes through and regexes that, and if it finds a slash n, drops in a break tag. So I thought to myself, I can use this by basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to shove the list of everything in a combo meal into the description field,
Hmm.
add a bunch of new line characters in it, and then add that helper, and it'll automatically handle that, and I'll be able to use the same template. And because the Chinese is to the left and my flex boxes are baseline aligned, does that make sense?
Yeah.
They're aligned to the baseline, so if something's multi-line next to a thing that's one line in the same box, the multi-line one and that one line, the first lines of each of those line up, and then everything else descends below. So I'll use the space for the Chinese name to the left of this list for the name of the combo A, B, C, D, whatever, and then I'll be able to use what I already have and not have to make a whole second view for for probably 12 items. It's really good. So that saved me a ton of fucking time. So today it's just gonna be putting together. I gotta put together a little bit of JSON for the other menu pages. I have the big one done. It's really just the combo pages that I need to put in, and that'll take me like 20 minutes. No, that'll take me like 20 minutes, and then I gotta do a whole mobile layout. But then should mostly be done with that. Didn't take long. Once I picked my technology stack and got my initial layout done, pretty happy with it.
Yeah, from what I'd seen of that, it looked pretty well done. Um, and actually, it's good you bring that up. So I wanted to ask you your input on this because I'm trying to figure out essentially how to get some of the projects out the way, like my website, just to get things going while I'm also learning Angular too, because while great, it can be sort of an overkill for simple things. And so I was looking at maybe what some good alternatives to the framework SPA would be. So um, I read
So,
a bunch on handlebars versus Dust. Of
so
course,
here's,
jQuery is a good candidate for the basics. Go
I
ahead.
mean, it depends, right? So, like an alternative to Angular, you're looking at something like React or React with Flux or Meteor or Ember, right?
Hmm.
But you got to think it's not about here's a framework. What are alternatives that might work? You need to think about, write down like a features list, basically create a project spec, then find the smallest thing that will handle your main spec features well, right?
Um,
Don't go at it from the technology perspective trying to find a thing that matches your project. Let your project dictate what kind of things you should be looking for.
yeah, I agree with that, and that's kind of what I. So it wasn't. Yeah, I guess I maybe will correct what I'm saying. It wasn't that I was looking for an alternative framework, but sort of like you said, what technology alternatives might be better so that they're not too cumbersome for the simplicity of the project that I'm looking at
Yeah,
doing.
but I don't know what the project you're working on is, so I can't tell you anything.
So maybe I can explain that to you.
Yeah, you should.
So it's work related. At my work, there is sort of a need for a basic sort of like I don't even know what I would call it. Let me, I guess, explain what it is. So for any time that I have to write any sort of trivial code on the websites that we service, so uh, allowing for links to outside websites from the partner's website, or anytime we have to insert pixels that have to be changed a little bit, like all these things that for anyone that's ever looked at code are pretty simple, but where nobody else apparently within my team worldwide has done it, they struggle with this. And so what I wanted to do is to build a little app that's basically just a bunch of select this, that,
You want
select your parameters and
what you're
spit out
looking
the
at
code.
is you want a static site generator where you supply a number of inputs.
But I also want to then build a little backend to that where you can kind of add like additional like parameters and then what the type of code it spits out.
Yeah, so those are inputs.
Right.
Okay.
And, okay.
Look into something like Jekyll,
Jekyll. Okay. Cool.
spelled like Dr. Jekyll. There's a bunch of static build tools like that. You be The problem there is your team structure, to be totally honest with you.
Oh, I mean, it's a problem that's not going to resolve itself.
Yeah,
Uh,
but you could look into something like Jekyll to be like a. There are a bunch of static site generators, and you could take one of those and modify it. You want to look for one that's written in a language that you know. That way you can modify it.
yeah.
Start playing with one though, but that would be the starting point that I would name you. I don't know if it's necessarily great for your situation, but it's the only thing like that that I know of. So you can research that and then just Google alternatives too, and that one nugget should be enough to get you going.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking um, how to basically couple that with, um, getting skilled up just in the technologies out there. Um, to also leverage it maybe as a portfolio piece of some type. So I was just thinking maybe combining like jQuery with some handlebars and whatever, making it into a little spa type thing.
We we could talk about it more later, like if you write down actual specifications and provide examples. Oh,
Yeah, I was
getting
thinking
there.
to get going on that and just build it out a little bit, um, and then bring that to you.
But what else did I do besides the Bamboo Garden website? Well, my wife had so after last week that my wife had this week off, 5 days, so we did a lot of family shit. I kind of hate her right now though. Last day of vacation was, hey, she goes, hey, what fun thing do you want to do today? And I'm like, I don't care, you can pick. And then my wife like must have forgotten she said the word fun because I wound up spending 4 hours at a mall. It was awful. Honestly, going to a mall it's like really sad. Have you been to a mall recently? It's just depressing.
No, it's depressing as fuck,
It
dude. I no
like
longer go to malls.
I had to. My wife was like, "How? Why is it depressing?" I'm like, "You don't understand. Going to this mall was basically my leftovers season 3." And she did not appreciate that. We went to South Center Mall,
Oh,
right?
that one's.
And
Dude,
so
I
like,
don't mind that mall.
it's
One,
too poor for me.
it's what?
Too poor for me. Like, there's nothing interesting in there.
Oh
You get
yeah,
you
no,
you
it's
got your.
definitely subpar. Like,
It's I guess what I mean for poor for me is all of the stores there are like the lowest common denominator stores. You got your Abercrombie and Fitch, your GameStop, your Foot Locker, the Nike store. Like they might as well have had a fucking fishbone in there. On a hot topic, right? Nothing you're not gonna expect is gonna be in that mall.
yeah, no, I mean, I wouldn't buy shit at that mall. Like, legit, I wouldn't buy shit at that mall. The only
My wife,
thing, you know what I bought? I think they had like those the orange juice machines that were kind of cool. Um,
My
is
wife
like,
bought my wife bought clothes at the H&M, and then we ate at the food court, and that was all we did there. They have a
dude,
restaurant there named Montezuma's, and you probably should not name your restaurant with something that has like mental associations with diarrhea.
yeah, dude,
But
straight up,
it
yeah.
was not great. I had a job interview. It went great. It was a place that does vending machine stuff.
Oh, nice.
Like they do, like, but when I say vending machine stuff, I mean they do like circuit design, like low level hardware driver programming in C,
Oh, wow.
building the machines, and then they also do network-based reporting. So here's your stock, here's what you need to reorder, manually reordering, sales trends, what items do well in what slots of the vending machine, and then they do all that like internet, like through a web portal, reporting on each individual machine.
Oh,
So
that's really interesting.
it's cool. It's cool. It's what you would think of if you thought of a smart vending machine. That's what they do. But they do it from like the bottom up. So I would be kind of full stacky there. I
Hmm.
would be doing their database stuff, and then also their front end reporting. If I do get that job though, it'll be hilarious because I'll be working in one room that has a desk in each corner. There's one empty desk, and every other person in that room is also named Chris. So there'll just be one in each corner, which I think is pretty good. But it went great. I'll be honest, that interview was the most fun thing I've done in like months. It was really good. They had great interview questions. So stop me when you hear an interview type that sounds unfamiliar. Interview type number one. They ask you a bunch of questions and try to get you to give a wrong answer so they can eliminate you as a candidate. Sound familiar, right?
Yeah.
Uh, interview type number two. I'm gonna quiz you on all of these algorithms to see how recently you have memorized your college textbook. Sound familiar?
Absolutely. It's
Question
so
type
annoying when they
three.
do that shit.
Type three. We ask you questions. We ask you questions that don't necessarily have a right answer, but cause you to write a lot of code so that we can figure out how you write code and think about it. Never heard of that shit, huh?
But that's how it should be, dude.
That's what it was.
That's
It,
amazing.
it was awesome. So here's an example of a question that I really liked. Was I need to write an algorithm that will take in other code and analyze it and look for. I need to make sure that all of my block delimiters, have matching pairs. So that means I need to be sure that every open paren, open bracket, open curly brace has a corresponding one and that they match appropriately. So I need to write something that'll do that.
Damn, did you get it?
I mean, I came up with several solutions. The first one is the obvious one where you have two loops, one going from the front, one going from the back, and when you loop through one at a time, and you loop through from the front to the back. Obviously, before you do this, you use a regular expression to only pull out the things that are opening or closing of a block scope delimiter, right?
Hmm.
So you just have a string. Well, this is before I did that. So the very, very first thing was I started looping through the string from the front until I found opening paren, opening bracket, opening curly brace, and then I started looping from the back to see if I found the matching one. If I didn't, I just returned false because they didn't match up. But if I did, then I started going from the front again, looking for the next one. Then I started going from the back, and eventually would meet in the middle. Or we would find an early return somewhere and hit false, right? So, easy answer, right?
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean,
Next thing you do, then you go, because performance there is terrible. Your worst case scenario, actually, your worst, not your worst case, your I mean, it is your worst case, but whenever you return true, it has, I think it's like 2n in terms of efficiency. Well, no, it's just n. because
Mhm.
what's happening is you're going through the whole string one character at a time, right? So the next thing you do is then you regular expression and you create a substring that is only those parentheses, and then you can do the same thing, right? Except it's just way better. There are other things you can do. So think about some JavaScript, and then if you pull it all out, you have a series of braces, parentheses, and curly braces, right? But if they match up, they're symmetrical starting from the middle, right?
Okay.
So what I did is, because we're doing C sharp, is I used string dot replace, and in the middle two, if they're matching, I string dot replace them with nothing. And in C sharp, that actually just deletes them, those indices, and makes the string shorter. So you're just pulling things out starting from the middle. There's a lot of different solutions. That was one we came up with.
How'd
Another
they
cool.
like it?
It was. Well, they were all interesting because they would say, uh, like, what if I told you to use a stack for this? And
Mhm.
a stack is horribly inefficient because what you're doing is you take the string after you've pulled out all non-characters that you're looking for, and you start shoving them on the stack until you get halfway through the string. So now you should have all of your openings here, right? And then you examine so you have a string that's all the closing, a stack that's all the opening, and you look at the top of the stack, you pop it, does it match the thing at the front of the string? If so, uh, pop the next one, look at the next index, and if you ever find a mismatch, or the stack and the string should be empty, you find a mismatch, you return out. If the stack's empty and the string's not, or the string's empty and the stack's not, you know you have a mismatch at the end, and you're false. It's
Hmm.
terribly inefficient. That's like 2n, but they just asked a bunch of ways to do it. Or another one was like, how would I programmed, I whiteboarded the entirety of the application for if I wanted to do Battleship.
Oh, nice.
Uh, a cool one, and this would be the only one that had a minus some basic, why would you not inline CSS? What's wrong with this HTML? Because there were a couple of those because they need to ascertain basic proficiency, not just higher level thinking skills, right?
Yeah.
Beyond those, the only higher level thing that actually had a right answer, and I kind of didn't get this one, but I think they still got value from it, even if it was wrong, because they told me that basically no one gets it, is imagine a scenario where you're black box testing a function, trying to figure out what it does from the you either get a true or false based on your three int inputs, right?
Oh, wow.
So they start me with 2, 4, and 6. What would be the first thing you would try? What's your first assumption about what this thing is doing if 2, 4, and 6 are true?
If 2, 4, and 6, I mean, it's looking for evens, right?
Right. So that was my first assumption. So you try an odd number, right? And that returns true. So now you're not looking for evens. Now what do you think about 2, 4, and 6?
Uh, you tried odds, so um,
The next thing I went for is A plus B equals C because you have 2, 4, and 6.
okay, yeah, where the two equal each other. Okay.
And that's true even if you break that rule. Say I do like 1, 3, and 6, right? That's still true. Then the next thing I started doing was testing for each position greater than 0, right? And you know what? At one point along the way, and this is about, can you recognize going down a rabbit hole that you don't need to early? Because this is called confirmation bias. Because the
Mhm.
other thing that's true about 2, 4, and 6 that you didn't think of, and that I spent 15 minutes not thinking of, because the very first test confirmed your hypothesis, you never checked the other high level stuff before getting really nitty gritty with the tests, is that it's just ascending order.
Oh, that's really funny.
But the inputs 2, 4, and 6 were carefully chosen to provide you with one or two easy hypotheses to allow you to confirm them to yourself and not even consider the other options. They're really well chosen inputs for that reason.
Yeah, so it's meant to make you fail.
Right. And they just want to see how you go about it.
Yeah.
That was cool. It was cool. great interview. I'll probably hear back next week. I was told I would hear back the end of next week either way, but it was pretty good.
Nice. What if you like scale of 1 to being hired? Where do you feel?
I feel like 9, assuming hired is 10.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So it's just basically because of that last question that was
I mean, no, it's just because there's always going to be somebody smarter than you. And it just comes down to does that person also apply for the same job?
fair enough. Yeah. Random chance ability.
Because that's the thing. That's the thing about getting your first job in a field, right? It's not also a matter of if you're qualified. It's a matter of does somebody have more experience? Is somebody just more senior than you, but applying for the same role? You not only have to find a job you're qualified for, but be the smartest person that applied for it.
Yeah. I mean, you have a good chance of getting it. Yeah. So
Control what you can.
true. True.
But other than that, playing some video games.
Nice. Lucky.
So
I'm
I
gonna
take.
try to today. We'll see how that goes.
I don't believe you.
I mean, I don't
You, s-
really.
you said that. You said that. You said that last time we recorded, and that was 2 weeks ago.
Um. Well, yeah, but I also haven't um like done shit outside of work for most of those days. Um, I've been taking it kind of easy, to be quite honest. Trying to enjoy life, man.
Ugh, God. How's enjoying Hell's Waiting Room working out for you?
I mean, they have ice water, so it's manageable.
It's alright. I was actually referring to life as Hell's Waiting Room, not just because it's summer.
No,
Summer's officially over, by the way. You like it is always there's like that one day that's 90 degrees, and then bam, now it's cold for the rest of the year.
dude, it's gonna be like 75 and gloomy and gray for the rest of the year.
I'm, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I don't specifically mind it or not mind it. I mean, who cares? Like,
Summer was long enough this year that I got a tan line from my flip flops.
I got a little bit of a tan.
No,
Um,
like it's on my feet and it's in the shape of flip flops. I have a tan line from.
oh shit, you had a good summer then.
Oh, it's fine. It's because I had to take my baby to the pool. I hate being outside. I would have preferred to have never left my house the entire summer.
I mean, come on.
Oh, I,
I
I
know
did
you're
have one
not.
other thing come up, which is I got some paid client work from my mother's homeowners association, which I have to start tomorrow. Sunday? No, wait. Today is Saturday, so I have to start it on Monday.
Yeah, you did mention that. What kind of is that? Just a basic build a website project?
Just, kind of, but not really. So it's everything. So single static page as an outsider view, but then we need to have a we have a logged in view where you log in on a separate subdomain,
Hmm.
and that logged in view will have a bunch of other information. So more static pages, but these static pages are pulled from like database records based on other users' profiles. So the idea would be everyone in this homeowners association has an account. They can
Hmm.
fill in their personal information and opt to have it listed in a directory, and then a directory is all of the information that each person elected to make public. There's like a bunch of others. There's some other pages. That's probably the most complicated one. And then there's also hooking up a forum, which is not hard because they're doing WordPress, so it's like one-click install. I just have to override the default login table with the other table for the backend,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so they can log in with the same account instead of having two accounts, because that would be dumb if you had to log into one site to get the link to the forum to log in again.
Right.
But other than that, it's not too complicated. Uh, I'm getting paid way less than I should for it, but it if I don't get this job, I'll want this in my portfolio. And it came down to I wanted the project in my portfolio more than I wanted adequate pay, because it might take like up to a month depending on if I do get the job or not. But it's probably like a 40-hour project, maybe more. Depends. I'm very unfamiliar with WordPress, but I would estimate no more than 40 working hours for like 250, which is not a lot.
Oh, that's not a lot, but
No,
like you
that's
say,
that's
it's not
very
about
little.
money, and that's a good point.
Yeah, this one it came down to. That's the other thing is that the point of contact is the head of the homeowners association, and they meet monthly, and she knows every person in the neighborhood. So this person is a good point of contact to deliver a project to for very cheap and like ahead of schedule because they'll be a good person to generate future leads.
Yeah, so you stand to benefit from doing this.
Not to mention, it's like they're gonna pay me like an extra $20 a month to log in, run some updates, and do some backups,
Um,
which
yeah, I
like
was gonna say,
makes
I
it
was
worth.
gonna ask you the same thing for Bamboo Garden. How like what if they need to update their menus and things?
Well, if they need to update their menus, they have one of their kids knows is a Java programmer, but even a Java programmer, haha, get fucked. Java programmers is probably capable of editing a JSON file.
True, at
I
least they
mean,
should be.
it's like a universal data format. JSON is the new XML. Every language has JSON support.
Yeah, so that should be good.
I mean, even if an idiot has to do it, I provided a README in the in the folder full of data files that here are all the fields you can have. Here are their possible values, and here is a fully loaded example. So they would be able to copy and paste that and change the information they need. The worst part about working on their site was I had this like it's like 4,500 lines of JSON in
Hmm.
this one file, and I had to go through and do a whole bunch of work to it, and that ate up an entire day and a half. But now it's only 1,300 lines. So even
Wow,
parsing like 1,300 lines of JSON through handlebars before the page loads, it's still like 800 millisecond load time.
is that pretty good or no?
That's less than a second, so yeah,
Oh yeah, 800 milliseconds. Yeah.
it's I mean it's good, and that's still pulling all of my libraries from CDNs. Like I haven't cached anything yet, so I haven't even optimized for load times or performance yet. It's nice.
Nice.
So since you haven't played any video games, you want to hear about a video game? You want to hear about two video games?
Yeah, what have you been playing?
I'm playing two games. We'll start with a game called Galak Z, GALAK dash Z. It's
Um,
it's from the people who made Skulls the Shogun. Uh, you know
oh,
these
that's
people.
that's the game we
No, yeah, you know those people because we went to their
yeah, we
thing.
went to their thing and they were like all about the thing and like
It
this
was
one
on the.
dude,
This is the game that was on the TV. Yeah.
yeah, this one dude was all about his thing and like how you could like cleverly, which that was kind of cool. I thought about that game.
Oh no, that's a different game. This was the game that was on the main TV there.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Where he was like, people would go straight on at some of the enemies, and he was like showing them how you could use the enemy AI to.
Oh yeah, you can get them to kill each other. It's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's top down. It's basically it's a space game where you're basically the game is like Macross if it was also a top down roguelike and the ship controlled kind of like asteroids. And by that I mean you have conservation of momentum regardless of your direction that you're facing,
Mm.
right? So if I boost forward, then turn left, now still drifting to what is now my right until I boost again. So you can use that to really easily like corner and maneuver. Think about like the physics model of asteroids. That's what the physics model here is like. But then you can also like transform into like a giant robot. It's cool.
Interesting.
You've seen Robotech.
Yeah.
You're piloting a Robotech ship.
I mean that should be pretty cool, right? I mean
It's very cool. It's also procedurally generated. The game's actually also a roguelike. It's cool. I highly recommend it. Yeah, you do a lot of like manipulating the AI and stuff. Like there's a Raider faction, the Empire faction, and then there are bugs, which are neutral, but Raiders and Empire will fight each other. But as a robot, you have like a grapple where you can pull and then throw enemies. You can pull and then punch the shit out of them. Or you can also just zoom up and slash them with your sword, and you have like an active directional deflection shield as the robot.
Mhm.
As the ship, you can juke instead. But it's like you can go grab like a bug and then chuck it into like a horde of Imperials, and then while they're busy, just like use your missile lock on and blow them all away. Uh, it's really good. I recommend it. It was I got it in a humble bundle a while ago. The game was actually the only reason I bought the humble bundle because I've been waiting for that game to go on sale for a while. All right. Anyway, so I got a game from a humble bundle. Uh, that because they have like the beat the average thing for a bunch of games, and then there's always like a tier that's locked unless you pay X dollars, so like $15. And I looked at it and I'm like, the only one of these games that I really give a shit about is Galaxy, and unfortunately for this charity organization, they are in the $1 tier. So I spent a dollar. You could spend a penny, but then you don't get Steam keys, and God forbid I have to go to a separate page instead of just my Steam library. That's always worth an extra 99 cents to me.
Oh yeah, no, I
Having all
mean
that shit in
like
one place.
hands down. Um, let's see, PlayStation bundle? No, I don't want PlayStation bundle. I'm just checking it out for fun. But yeah, so Humble Bundle's pretty good, right? I mean, like they always have a whole lot of.
I always skip a bunch of them now because I don't just need a massive quantity of games. I have a specific list of games that I'm always keeping an eye on the price of.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't buy a lot of the humble bundles. I did buy their they had a like a they have like a coding book bundle. I did buy that.
A coding book bundle?
It included stuff like eloquent JavaScript and which is more intermediate to advanced JavaScript features. A bunch of other stuff in there, but that's mostly the book I bought. I bought that for like $9 because just that one book would be like $12 on Amazon. So
Oh fuck, that's worth it.
I'm also interested in this one book called "What If Hemingway Wrote JavaScript,"
Oh my god.
which is mostly like it looks to be trying to write JavaScript code in the style of famous authors based on how they write.
That's very interesting. Actually. Have you seen any like previews of it?
Oh, I mean, I have it on my Kindle. Well, it's not on my Kindle yet because my Kindle is full of Berserk, but I've been reading that. So as I open up space, I will put those books on my Kindle.
Oh nice. Well let me know. Let me know how
That's
that goes.
on the first day of my wife's vacation. Went to Costco and spent $200 on booze.
Nice, nice.
So every day I'm like a glass or two of Di Serona on ice with just like an amaretto liqueur, and reading Berserk in my comfy chair in front of a fan, and that's my every evening.
It's kind of dope.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
What
For
else did
sure.
I? What else did I play? Oh, also played Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain.
That's a new one, isn't it?
Yeah. Um, it's the newest one. Yeah. It's it's really good. Have you ever played a Metal Gear Solid game before?
Dude, like the PlayStation 1 version.
Do you remember it?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't enjoy it thoroughly. I don't think. It's probably had something to do with the mechanics.
Have you ever played a Splinter Cell game?
Yeah, oh, I love Splinter Cell, dude.
This one's more like Splinter Cell than Metal Gear. The difference between Splinter Cell and Metal Gear is Splinter Cell is based on observation. Like you have to visually like eyeball enemies, right?
Hmm.
And Metal Gear Solid, you have a radar which tells you where they are and what their vision cones are. So you could theoretically be playing Minimap Pac-Man, assuming that everyone was on a flat terrain, right?
Right, right, right.
It's often more complicated than that because of verticality. But Audrey, come here. Give me that. Give me this. She somehow got Screwhead. I'd take that from her.
Oh, that's not good.
But so this one is open world. It's like if Splinter Cell was mixed with like Far Cry 3.
Oh, that could be interesting actually.
So it has marking like there's no radar anymore, so the Metal Gear Solid, the main thing for that is out. It controls like a normal video game, like left trigger, right trigger, aim, fire. Uh, the inventory system's still a little weird, but it's not as weird as Metal Gear, where you have a two inventories, one on the left bumper, one on the right bumper, right? That was
Mhm.
always weird. You just have like a circular weapon select, like in a Jack and Dexter, but it's four directions, and when you select one, then you again press left or right because you can have two weapons per slot. So I might press up for my lethals, and then press left for my assault rifle or right for my sniper rifle. So the weapon select still a little convoluted, but so it's open world. I don't have a radar, but I can use like binoculars to like mark a bunch of enemies and then see where they are through walls and stuff. And
Oh,
then
that's kind of dope. So if you like see him, you can mark him, and then you'll see him even
and
if
it's
you
open
go.
world, so you just find a hill like 200 meters away and start marking up the base.
See, so I'd probably like that. I think I probably
So
didn't like the one I played on PlayStation 1 because
because it was
it
hallways
wasn't.
and you were playing mini map Pac-Man in Metal Gear Solid 1.
Yeah, and I don't fucking like Pac-Man to begin with, so I can't imagine.
Pac-Man's okay. I'm not really that into Pac-Man. It's no Dig Dug.
Yeah, true.
Fucking Dig Dug, nigga. What a good video game.
That was
Should
pretty
cancel this
dope.
podcast and go play some Dig Dug. But yeah, so but there's always a lot of blind spots. So when you get in there, you're doing a lot of stop it. When you get in there, you're doing a lot of improvising because it's not possible to mark every enemy in a base. The game starts to get really weird when after you played it for a while.
Mhm.
Uh, there's a lot of weird systems in this game, right? So like I unlocked the ability to record audio in the game, and then I unlocked separately an item that let me place like a little speaker to play back some audio for a set amount of time. So you could use it to bluff an enemy that you have a tank and that tanks are coming, right?
Mhm.
But the way I used it was there was a guard taking a shit, and I recorded that in the background. And then I grabbed him, interrogated him, found out some information, like where they had a stash of rough diamonds, and then slit his fucking throat. But what happened is then uh, the main the command post for this like little base, because you have soldiers, then you have the command post, and then you have headquarters, which ties together all the command posts. I had sabotaged the so normally if there's a problem at a command post and it gets reported up the chain, if a soldier reports to command post will report to HQ and you could get reinforcements coming in. But
Mhm.
I had done a mission that disrupted the base to base communications network. So any problems in a command post stayed localized to the soldiers there, so I didn't have to worry about swelling enemy ranks. So
Nice.
he command post calls in to check just to do a check, and this guy doesn't answer because I cut his fucking throat, right? So they send a soldier to investigate this guy's last known location. So he starts coming into the bathroom. I have nowhere to go, and I had already broken my weapon suppressor. Right? So if I fire, I'm immediately going loud and stealth is over. So what I do is I play back the sound of the guy taking a shit. The other guy gets to the door, hears it, says, "No way I'm going in there," and then reports to command post that all's clear. It
This
was
is all wow. See, yeah,
it was fucking awesome.
I'm gonna have to get this game.
So here's where it gets crazier. So there's day night cycles. At nighttime you can't see as well, but enemies can't see as well, and there's fewer of them. But you also can't mark from very far away, so you have to get closer, which means there's more blind spots when you're marking, so you miss more dudes in the base. So nighttime, fewer dudes, they can't see you from a million miles away, but you're gonna have to make up a lot more of it as you go along, right?
Mhm.
So I started doing most of my operations at night because I'm pretty good at improvising my way through it. And suddenly, when I started hitting them at night, they started all having flashlights now, right? So I'm like, well, shit. It turns out they respond to your tactics, and now that they're using flashlights, I'm like, fine, we'll do this in the daytime. I'm just gonna start like headshotting dudes with this sniper rifle from super far away, and then they start getting helmets, right? I'm like, fine. So we'll do this in the daytime. I'll play it really slow. I'm gonna crawl up to individual soldiers when they're isolated because I can lure them by like knocking or throwing an empty magazine and
Yeah.
attracting their attention. And I'll sneak up behind them. I'll grab them. I'll interrogate them, and I'll cut their fucking throats. And I started doing that, and then they started all going with buddies, and it was like impossible to isolate one guy. And I'm like, well, shit, right? So I'm just playing, and I stumble upon a base, and this base is a supply depot for helmets. And I blow it up, and then in future missions, they don't have helmets. So, and it turns out that I hit another base later with flashlights, but only certain places didn't have flashlights. So what happens is the AI responds to your tactics, but with actual supply chains that you can interrupt at certain points along the way or at the route. So like I destroyed the supply of helmets, but only partially removed the ability for flashlights. It's
Wow,
crazy.
that's insane. Is it procedurally generated at all?
No, why would it be? No, it's really good. Oh, also, my horse. I have a horse that poops on command. I push a button, and then Kiefer Sutherland goes, "Do it!" and then my horse takes a dump. And it's very useful because it makes vehicles spin out. So like, I'd be like, I'd do some recon, figure out a vehicle's travel path around the map, and then I'd get ahead of them, and I'd say, "Do it!" and then my horse would take a dump, and then I'd go get on a hill, and the truck would spin out, and then I just like snipe the guy through the window and steal their truck.
Wow,
It's
that
pretty,
game is so fucking epic.
dude. The game's really good. So you have like you have like a helicopter that can carry you to certain drop points and stuff like that. You can use it for to call in for attacks, but I haven't been upgrading it at all, so it'll just get immediately wrecked. Because there's also there's a ton of crazy meta systems that I'm not gonna bother to explain right now because they play a little bit into the moment to moment, but it's the game is one of the biggest games I've ever played.
Wow.
Not in terms of size like The Witcher 3, but I'm talking about in terms of the number of systems that all hook together.
Yeah, so the internal mechanisms are really excellent.
Like it's not Dwarf Fortress, but in terms of how systems play into each other, it's bigger than say Far Cry 2.
Wow.
It's really cool. But yeah, my helicopter and now whenever it comes in or leaves, it just plays Flight of the Valkyries. But since you can edit the files on PC, I'm probably gonna replace it with the intro to Curb Your Enthusiasm. So as my helicopter comes in for the attack run, it goes, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. It'll be really good.
Nice. How much was it?
Uh, it's like $40 on Steam. Uh, you can get it like third party for like $23.
Oh wow, that's really good.
Also, I bought some. Steam has this keys and crates thing in some games. I don't know if you know about that. Mostly free to play games.
No, I
So
didn't know.
when you play, sometimes you'll just get an item that's like a crate, and you key to open it, and you can spend like $2.50 to $5 depending on the crate to get the key, and you open it and you get a skin, right? So CS:GO has these, but KF2 has them. And I've never tried it, so I bought two keys for $5. Each of them turned into a skin that was worth $5. So I turned $5 into $10, and then I've been doing that. And now I have $30 in Steam credit because I've been getting
Wow,
very lucky with my skins.
nice. How do you know which game has it? Is it something that Steam advertises?
I mean, you can just look in the marketplace, I guess.
Oh, okay.
But I know Killing Floor 2 has them, and Killing Floor 2 is a good game that you should have anyway.
Yeah.
That game's gotten so good now it's not even funny.
Uh,
Like
when's the next Steam sale coming up?
I don't know, but Killing Floor 2 is $30. I've never seen it go cheaper than 20.
Yeah.
So just put it on your wish list and you'll get an email when it's on sale.
Yeah, I'll make sure I check that out.
It's really good now.
I
Like
really wanted to play that we happy few, or we're all laughing, as I like to call it.
Do you like survival games?
Yeah, like I
Okay.
really want to check out the one that you were talking about,
The Long Dark?
the Long Dark, last time around.
You should play a different one. I
As
have
in a different game than a
yeah.
Long Dark.
You should play a game called Miasmata.
Miasmata.
Spell it like miasma. You know how to spell that?
Yeah.
You played Dwarf
So,
Fortress. You should be familiar with miasma.
oh, dude.
But then
I
add
just
TA at the
remembered
end of
that
it.
one time
So,
when,
oh god,
dude,
I
we had
I
some
lo-
good
so
times in Dwarf Fortress.
you know what the problem was? I went back and I analyzed the save. Is that there was a fucking cat blocking the entrance, so that's why nobody would drag out the corpse, and the corpse of this elephant just rotted in the central staircase and flooded the whole fort with miasma.
Yeah. And then we didn't have water, so there was no real way to clean yourself from anything or drink
Yeah,
water
well, I mean,
because
we
it
had
kept freezing.
we had we had beer. Oh no, that's a different one. That was the one where I embarked on an evil biome,
That
and we
was
had
also
like,
frozen 80% of the time.
yeah, whatever. It was fun.
No, it was a good
You
time.
had a you had a good time, even though that good time lasted about 2 dwarven years tops.
So my biggest issue with Dwarf Fortress at that time is that I didn't quite fully know the mechanics
I mean,
around certain things.
I would say you
Per
still don't, and I still don't.
I
Like
mean, yeah, but I'm talking
animal
fundamentals
husbandry,
like digging,
like
right?
animal husbandry and training, like fucking war animals. Don't know shit about that.
Oh,
I just, I just
yeah.
recently figured out how the military works because I had to live that long.
Oh, wow. No, but I'm talking about like I didn't even fully know digging, that
Mhm.
they won't dig anything on upper levels until the bottommost levels were all dug out.
Uh huh. Yeah. You could do it the other way around, but your dwarves are stupid and they'll fall to their death.
Well, yeah. So you don't want to.
In my current fort, I managed to have a find. I got a vampire, and I figured out who it was, and then I basically built a tower and locked them in it, and then removed the door and replaced it with a stone wall. And now I have a contraption that I can use to lift stuff into the tower. So and they were like they have become a legendary like Marks dwarf in a tower, and they're there forever.
Because it's a vampire, I'll never
Yeah,
die.
it'll never die.
How, see, that's another thing I don't know, like about contraptions, how to build contraptions and shit.
That you, you should. It takes a while, right? That'll be like
Oh,
5 games in.
I know. Yeah, I'm basically like still pre-beginning.
I mean, I'm pumping lava up using a series of screws into a forge, but I also just have a lever to flood the world with lava.
Oh, so you're like boat murdered, which that was the best
I mean,
fucking read.
I mean, I haven't had any great scoldings yet. I haven't deployed it, but you should always have a doomsday lever.
Yeah.
That's There's a series of things in the Dwarf Fortress wiki called stupid dwarf tricks, which are things you probably never need to do, that are hard to do, that you can do, and you do them just because you can. And the Doomsday Lever is one of those.
Yeah, it's so much fun, dude.
I mean, even though I did accidentally kill like 2/3 of my dwarfs because I must have accidentally designated another tile and I flooded the lower 2/3 of my fortress with lava at one point.
Now, does the whole thing burn?
Everything
Or
flammable in there burns. We just sealed it off and never spoke of it again. So
fair enough.
my fortress and my population are 1/3 the size of what they used to be, but I also have a magma lever now.
Well, is there even a way to flood that out at this point?
I mean, I probably could.
But you'd
What
have
I
to
could probably do is
sacrifice a dwarf.
I'd have to sacrifice one or two dwarves, probably more because they're dumb. But I could dig like a giant hole, dig a channel, get all of my dwarves out but one, have them dig out the last tile and let the magma drain out into the other thing. But what would I get out of that, right? All I would get out of that is a bunch of empty rooms.
Yeah, true. and who
Or
cares about
or
that at this point?
anything made out of a material that doesn't burn, which is just basically some military gear.
Yeah,
So probably not
dude.
gonna bother.
Now I want to start playing that game again, but they don't have the tile set anymore for the most updated version.
Well, who cares?
Dude, I care. I can't get that ASCII down. That shit's confusing.
Sure you can. It just takes a little bit of time that you have not committed because you don't play video games.
I mean, you could put me on the spot like this if you want, but
I mean, I'm not necessarily putting you on the spot.
yeah, you're
I,
not.
I wouldn't I wouldn't bring it up if every week you didn't say I'm gonna play some video games right after this, and then next week you're like, oh, I didn't play any video games. I didn't have any time.
Dude, I know, but straight up, I don't have. I mean, I have editing I could be doing, but
Why? I mean,
uh,
you want to have time to play video games. Stop recording when you play video games and trying to make them into YouTube videos.
I know, I know.
And you would, because what you're doing is you're basically doubling the amount of time it takes to play a video game, if not more.
Yeah, I'm not intelligently creating content yet.
Well,
I'll
yeah,
get there one day.
just if you insist, just fucking stream it and push it to YouTube, because otherwise you'll never actually get to play a game in order to turn it into content.
I will take your advice, my friend.
Yeah, in order to have content around video games, you have to have time to play video games.
Dude,
So you gotta pick.
my post reach this week is 1, 2, 3, 4.
Uh-huh.
It's a pretty dope number.
That's a cool story.
I know.
I wish
So,
you'd have told me that story yesterday when it was 90 degrees. That could have been really it would have been refreshing.
oh yeah, you would have enjoyed that.
But yeah, I highly recommend Metal Gear Solid 5. It's good. Dwarf Fortress, a good video game. Hearthstone's been exciting as shit.
Oh, don't tell me anything about it. I've yet to play some of that stuff.
Did you get it yet?
No, not yet.
Well, it's the new decks that are exciting. The adventures are like whatever, right? All I give a shit
Yeah.
about. Give me the fucking cards. I want some new decks. Mill Rogue's back, baby!
Oh no shit.
The only card that makes it really easy now is they added a 4 mana 3/2. So you're paying 4 mana for a 2-drop, but it
Mhm.
has Battlecry summon a 0/5 taunt. Oh, it's really good.
Nice.
Priest is like very strong all of a sudden after being like probably the worst class. There's a new priest list that revolves around Injured Blade Master, who's a 3 mana 4/7, but has Battle Cry deal 4 damage to yourself.
Mhm.
So this is a priest deck where you take out the Wild Pyromancers and you take out the Northshire Clerics, and your only 3 or less cost minion is the Injured Blade Master.
Oh,
And
interesting.
then you start playing Resurrect, which brings a random minion back. But when it comes back, the battle cry doesn't come off, so it's a 4/7. And then they added a new priest minion, which is a 4/3/6, so it's like a water elemental that says whenever you play a spell, heal yourself for 3 mana. So you get way more heals without having to spend mana on your hero power. And then they added a 5/3/4, which has battle cry, summon a friendly minion that died this game. So you're just summoning tons of 4/7s and healing for free, because the healing, you'll get the healing off of like a removal spell like Shadow Word Pain or Shadow Word Death. So you're just summoning tons of 4/7s and healing hella.
God damn.
Yeah, it's strong.
That's really OP.
Hunter decks are out of control now. They're really good. Like the Kindly Grandmother, the 2 mana 1/1 that has Death Rattle summon a 3/2. Both halves are beasts. Really good. They just added, so like you're replacing your Carrion Grubs now and your King's Elec. So you just at every slot you have a good Death Rattle beast now. So you just start punching them in the face over and over again. So they just made mid-range Hunter better. The Spell Hunter, because there's like a version of Hunter that has 2 minions in it. It's Yogg Saron, who casts a spell for every spell you played, and King's Elec, which, if you only have 1 minion in your deck, it's gonna pull Yogg Saron.
Wow.
and then
That's too much.
all of the rest of it is spells. Because what happens is there's a hunter spell called Lock and Load, and it's whenever you play it, it costs like 2 mana. And it says whenever you play a spell this turn, add a random hunter card to your hand. So you play that, and your whole deck is just spells, like tons of secrets, tons of removal, and stuff like that. But they added a card that's a 3 mana 3/4 that says your hunter secrets cost 0. So
Wow.
people are now modifying that list to be like crazy secret decks.
Mhm.
It's weird. There's just a lot of crazy shit over the place. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm gonna try the Tempo Dragon Paladin, and then there's a new set of cards out that I haven't even played with yet. So this is like week old information. There'll be more out on Thursday, so I might just wait. But
Yeah, I
it's
mean, we could have another Hearthstone episode next week.
shit. Just every week, new cards come out, new decks come out, and everything. They just flip the table on the meta. It's really good. Zoo's getting shit on pretty hard now. It's pretty good.
Really, it's not even.
Well, Zoo does not have many coin toss matchups. Your matchups are either good or bad,
Mhm.
and more matchups have moved from good to bad,
Yeah. Damn.
just based on what's being played now.
Interesting.
It's an exciting time to play. Not that you wouldn't know because you don't have a smartphone. Just get a smartphone, dude. What's happening? What's going on in your life? You said you have the money for it. Just get one.
Dude, yeah. Then we decided to go to Japan this winter, so now I have to.
I recommend the phone I have because it's not expensive and it's really good.
What was it again? You said
I have the HTC M8.
HTC.
When I got it, it was like 300 refurb, but that was like a year and a half ago. And the M10 has come out since then, so you can probably get this phone for like $200. And I have not had a problem with it at all. In terms of like not being able to run things, battery's good. HTC M8 refurbished. Just get off Virgin. That's gonna be a requirement. Yeah, like right here. Uh, there's you can get it for AT&T for $122. There's $269 for the Verizon version. There's like factory unlocked for $250.
I probably want the unlocked.
Yeah, it's not expensive. Uh, the fully unlocked though, it looks like T-Mobile only.
Yeah.
T-Mobile. Let's see. See details. Let's read the details on this phone. Do, 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 do.
I'll get around to it one of these days.
Yeah, so it's you use the T-Mobile SIM. I recommend it, dude. You can get a fucking $50 a month for T-Mobile. Get a real phone. Have like actually fast data for once in your life. Right? Like that $50 includes 2 gigs.
It's not too bad.
This right here, $9. This phone, good with Ting, which was that service like we had run your bills. Did we run your bills for that? We should do that after this podcast.
From Bing?
Yeah, from Ting.
Ting?
We'll run your bills after this podcast. Let's wrap it up because I don't have anything else to say. And shopping for phones is not exciting, and you should edit that out.
Yeah. Alright.
So yeah, that's about it. Exciting Hearthstone. Awkward break. Segue. We're gonna edit some shit out of this podcast, so it's hard to come back from nothing. But that's it. That's it for the show. Also, watch Stranger Things. I guess pretty good. Halfway through it.
Oh, nice. I have to get on that show. I was watching.
It's on Netflix, which you don't have because you decided to spend $10 a month on Showtime instead of Netflix, even though
Yeah,
Netflix
don't
has
judge
most
me.
of Showtime's content.
I I did watch a miniseries on HBO called The Night of, about some shit that happens in New York on a regular night. It's actually pretty good.
That
Um,
sounds excellent.
it's really good.
See,
Um,
I'm interested in that because I'm interested in like anthropology. So I'm just interested in like the human like the categorizing of people in that will probably happen in the movie.
yeah, no, it's great. It's about a Pakistani kid that's super smart that basically goes in for murder uh, after a night that he decided to just kind of go to a party in his
Okay.
dad's cab. Anyways, it's pretty great. There's only 8 episodes. The last one hasn't come out yet,
Their
so
documentaries are really good.
yeah, I've watched a bunch of theirs. Yeah, HBO's on point, especially because I don't even pay for it. It's somebody else's account. So
Nice.
good stuff. Good stuff. So speaking of that, if you want to give me your Netflix credentials,
Nope.
don't hesitate.
So it would cost you a couple of bucks a month, but I would. The reason I wouldn't just give it to you now is because Netflix has a number of screens clause in it, and right now we pay
Oh,
for
that's right.
two,
That's
which is
right. I remember you telling me about that.
so. I would be willing to give you one if you paid the difference between what we pay now and the next higher tier, which is only a couple of bucks every month, because you would get two screens for you guys. Because the way Netflix gets used around here is my wife or I is watching it, and so is my daughter, but generally never all three of us. Because if my wife's watching Netflix, it's on the PS3, and I'm out here playing a video game, or she's watching it on the PS3 and I'm reading Berserk. So we're never using three screens. But for four screens, you would get two screens, so you and Naomi could watch different shows at the same time, and we would be have 4K content.
What's the cost on that?
Let's check it out. Let's see. I think it's like just an extra $3.
Oh, get the fuck out. I'll pay you for. I'll just give you $30 for next 10 months.
Let's see. Let's go, Chris. Uh, let's see. Your account. Two screens. Yeah, it's $2 more a month.
Oh, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
All right.
So you,
Well,
so you can send me. You can just send me 24, $25 for the year.
yeah, yeah. And you still accept PayPal?
Yeah, totally.
All right. Well, now that you
And
know, go
so now
ahead.
you get two screens for your house. You get Netflix, and I get to watch 4K content on my 4K TV.
Awesome. Done deal. And for our audience, now that you know how to go about getting Netflix the smart way, uh, thanks for listening.
I swear to
This has
God,
been the White Nose Boys.
don't forget you only got two screens. I'll be mad.
Dude, we're only gonna ever watch one, so that's gonna be good.
Okay.
Uh, yeah. So, Chris, where can people find you?
On Twitter at @theliquidsword. You could follow me on Twitch, but I haven't streamed anything on Twitch in a long time. I should stream some Metal Gear Solid 5. I have fun with that game. I haven't streamed anything in a long time because whatever.
Yeah, fuck them.
I,
And you can
oh,
also
it's because
check
I've been
Chris's
because
web
it's
dev
because
work at christaylor.zone, the most
don't
epic
go there yet.
website name on the planet.
Don't go there. It's terrible.
Yeah, just like Alexander.solutions.
Did you really get that?
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Um,
So yeah, my website is awful right now because for basically my portfolio has two things in it, and it looks like shit because what I did is one of the first projects that you do in the nano degree is basically creating a static site from you're doing like a mock to PSD, and it's a mock portfolio. So I figured I would just throw that up there in the meantime. All of my other projects are hosted there, just not linked from the main page, and the main page design is total shit.
yeah, just like mine. Uh, yeah, you can find the Butter Sizzle on Twitter at Lord Petrie. Also, our Madbox channel is at the Madbox World. Uh, Still don't have enough subscribers for a custom URL on YouTube, so click the links in the description to find us
What if you gave up on that?
on YouTube.
Yeah.
Hell no, bro.
I mean, think of all the time you would have.
Well, I mean,
You could
it doesn't really.
you could still record this pod if you wanted to.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't really like change anything in the grand scheme of things. It basically. So if I didn't do or try the whole YouTube success thing, then I would just be working every day, and that's
What
it. That would be
what
depressing
I
as
mean by
fuck.
that is give up on the editing aspect of that.
Oh,
Feel free to push content to YouTube, but if you do, just stream on Twitch and then push it later.
I mean, I enjoy editing. That's the thing. So,
Really? Because you complain about editing Magmar sucks all the time.
dude, I didn't complain about it today. It was actually the easiest thing to edit. I think we finally perfected our methodology.
Well, yeah, it's because we fixed the fucking.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Anyways, thanks for listening. I hope y'all enjoy it.
Oh, subscribe to Magmar Sucks on iTunes, Android Play, or wherever you get your fine podcasts.
And make sure to rate it. It really helps us out. If you're listening on YouTube, hit that like button, please, and subscribe if you will. Leave all your comments in the comments. And until next time, sizzling out, bitches.
Oh, that's terrible.